Okay, ready?
No. No.
Archiving.
Okay, ready.
Mics are off. Jingle.
Locatora Radio. A radiophonic novela, Locatora Radio, hosted by
Mala Muñoz.
and Diosa Fem.
Hola, locamores. Welcome back to Locatora Radio.
This is Mala.
And this is Diosa.
And we are Las Locatoras. And of course, we're recording here at Radio Espacio, where we always record Locatora Radio. Thank you for joining us once again for another Capitulo.
Thank you for tuning in. Locatora Radio is a radiophonic novela archiving the brilliance, legacies, and geniuses of women and femmes of color.
Yes, we are.
Yes, so happy to be here. Happy February.
I feel like it's been so long since we last recorded.
Yes, we kind of just like put out 3 capítulos in like a span of a week.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, bye. We gotta travel to Oregon.
Oh, and did we travel?
Yes, we did.
We traveled.
Yes, so the January 31st to February 2nd, we were in Oregon, the University of Oregon, MECHA, and the Multicultural Center, and the UO Mujeres, University of Oregon Mujeres organization, invited us out to do a workshop, 2 workshops, and a keynote, and we have so much to say.
It was really fun. Also, can I just say, elephant in the room, we're recording for YouTube now, and I think we're still adjusting.
We are still adjusting.
Because it's like the camera's like having a third locatora here, like our third member that we're still getting used to.
Oh my god, yes.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hey everybody. So no, we went to Oregon. We were in Eugene.
Yeah.
Which it was my first time in Oregon. I've never been to Oregon before. And I thought it was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So green. The air was so clean.
Yeah. It was so cold.
We were like, let's clean out our lungs. Let's get this LA smog, this residue, you know, the LA grime, because LA can be very grimy.
Yeah.
And so first we got there, and of course the students picked us up. They took us to our hotel. They got us a really nice hotel. You know, we hung out.
Yeah, it was basically like a little mini Locatora retreat because we didn't have time to really do any sightseeing and to go around Eugene, unfortunately. But, you know, we got a lot of work done while we were there. We were still working, taking conference calls and doing all that good stuff that we like to do. So we were still working and then, of course, prepping and doing all of our work for the conference and the workshop. So, but it was amazing. It was great. We had a really great time. We did our goddess worship workshop with the UO Mujeres and other students that were there. So hopefully we gained some new listeners, and shout out to our locamores that were there, such as Vero, Marianne, Edith, Yomaira.
Fabulous people.
And all the other mujeres that were amazing. It was amazing to meet all of y'all.
It was cool to be around like the students.
It was.
I felt so nostalgic about my own undergrad years. And one thing that I really loved was, and this capítulo is all about love.
Yeah.
This is our Amor Prohibido episode, you know, and I could really feel the love there on campus, not just for like, you know, the podcast and everything, but like for the community.
Yes.
There was a big sense of community there with the MECHA students we met, the UO Mujeres students that we met, the Multicultural Center. Like at one point, the girls had us over to one of their apartments, and like it was a bunch of the students there. We just were all hanging out and talking, and we ended up dancing at the end, and it was really fun. And like I miss having all of my homegirls in one spot.
Right. That's what we were saying. Like, when you're doing your undergrad, like you're never in that close proximity to your friends like ever again. Afterwards, you know, after you graduate and move away, so it was super great. And I agree with Mala, like definitely nostalgic. There's so many things I would have done differently during my undergrad, and like now, obviously being out and like having this different sense of community, I would have done so much differently. So
like for example, what would you have done differently if you had to do undergrad over again?
I would have changed my major. I would have studied abroad longer. I probably would have, there's a lot. I mean, my relationships, I think, affected a lot of my undergrad. So I would have done so much differently. So it's nice to see the way these mujeres have really built their community.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful community.
Beautiful community. And it just seems like they really take care of each other and are just willing to learn together, grow together, and then bring speakers out, because we heard about some future speakers that they're trying to bring. We can't say anything.
No, we can't.
You know, it's really great to see the mujeres doing the work It needs to be done, you know,
Hell
on
yeah.
campus.
And let me just say, and it was not lost on us, between Mecha and, of course, UA Mujeres, the Raza Youth Conference, the Raza Unida Youth Conference, the 15th annual, is the reason why Mecha of University of Oregon flew us out there, because we gave a keynote
Yes.
for the Raza Youth Conference, right?
Yes. And the theme was Floreciendo Juntos, so we wrote this really great keynote. In my opinion, it was really great.
It was real good.
It was real good.
Can't lie.
We can't lie. And, you know, we really brought this theme of, like, you know, planting your seeds and blooming and growing and, you know, having to, you know, pluck the weeds and not block anyone's sunshine and not block their growth, right? And really talking about that in the sense of when you're in a community that has multiple needs, right?
Layered needs.
Layered needs.
It takes many, many seeds,
Yeah.
right, for a successful harvest.
Yes.
It's never just one seed,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, all those themes. We're not gonna give
No,
the whole thing away. You had to be there.
Yes, you had to be there.
You had to be there.
And then I also want to shout out because we did. I'm gonna tell them about the Latinx Tech Intro to Podcast workshop we did.
That one was so fun. So we had done sort of like a podcasting workshop at UCLA for one of Silky's.
Yes,
shout out, hey
shout
girl.
out,
I know you're watching. One of our favorite femmes. Anyways, so Silky is a genius and is this brilliant professor, and she had a class at UCLA.
Right.
And we came, and what department was it? Was it Chicano Studies?
Chicano Studies.
Yeah, so for a Chicano Studies class, we went as the podcast, and we talked about podcasting. We took that same workshop, and we sort of developed it for high schoolers and middle schoolers, and we called it Latinx Tech. And basically, we had them break off into groups, the students, and build their own podcast from the ground up, from like having a name to a logo to a hashtag, you know, all that stuff. The stuff that we've put together to make our podcast come to life. So it was real fun.
We did, of course, we like laid the foundation, and we talked about like our development and what we've done and what's worked and what we've had to improve and all those things. And also at the workshop, there were two mujeres from Portland that drove, and they're loca amores. So I want to shout out Feli and Rocio. They
were so fun. They were so fun.
They took us to get drinks afterwards.
Yes.
And we spent the whole afternoon with them before we flew back to LA. So it was super great to meet them. We have the best loca amores.
We really do. Our listeners are so fun, are so bomb.
So much fun.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Our listeners are so fucking cool.
So hopefully we'll be in Oregon again.
Mm-hmm.
That would be great.
I think we will be.
Yeah.
We might, maybe we'll spend a little bit more time there.
Yeah, to play.
A day of leisure.
Yes.
If you will.
Yes.
If you must, you know?
Yeah, so that was our time in Oregon. It was super great. And then, you know, we came back and, you know, back to work.
Yes.
Here we are.
And here we are. And here we are, I think, we're going to jump into one of our new segments.
Are you ready?
Ey, ven pa' acá. Ey, ey.
Yes.
Ven pa' acá. Come here. Sin parar.
Let's go. All right.
So good. That's a classic.
We're gonna get lost.
We're gonna get lost.
All right.
Lost to Pitbull, Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide.
All right. So, oye, podcast. We got this listener question a few weeks ago, a few months ago. I hope you're listening, Amor. This is such a great question. Definitely hits home for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask it. Okay. I'm a bisexual Mexicana, and my dad has a hard time with me dating women. I'm currently dating a guy and no amo, pero I get the sense that my dad is, quote, relieved. This bugs me for some reason, and I'm not sure why, because although my dad had a hard time with me dating women, he didn't, quote, disown me or anything and said he loves me regardless. Have either of y'all experienced this?
You can take this one away. You can take this one away. This is relevant.
Okay, girl. I feel like you are reading my life, TBH. I actually feel this way, and I think this was, you know, not to get too deep, but I feel like this was really hard for me to move away from my lesbian identity into my queer identity, because I'm so femme that people weren't going to understand that I'm queer or pansexual or bisexual. It was more like, oh yes, even phase is over.
Yes, right.
So I really struggled with
the queerness was a phase.
Exactly. I really struggled with being okay with dating men. And same thing, I feel like my father was never like outwardly homophobic with me. I think it was more subtle, like he wouldn't necessarily acknowledge my partners as my partners.
They were
You know,
friends.
They were friends, and he would never say their names. He would say la muchacha, things like that. Very coded,
Yes.
coded things. And now I feel like I wouldn't say he's happy that I'm dating a man, because I don't know if any father's ever really happy
That their
you're
daughter is
dating
anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And like when I don't come home, he knows where I'm at. you know.
Favorite.
Right?
That's my favorite.
Right?
That's the best. Ah!
Right? So, I mean, yes. Okay, so have either of us experienced that? I mean, yes, definitely. And I think your feelings are valid, especially, and this is what I had this discussion with my mom recently, actually, because she was like, well, how does, your boo feel about you identifying as queer? And I'm like, well, he wouldn't be with me if he wasn't okay with that.
Numero uno.
Right? And I had
Let's start there.
Yeah, and I had to have that discussion, and I was like, just because I'm dating a man now doesn't make me any less queer.
Let's start there.
Right?
Let's be clear.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
Yes, there are certain privileges when you're in a perceived heterosexual relationship, but it doesn't negate your queerness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's really important, and I just want to say, if you're listening, your feelings are totally valid.
Yeah.
And I feel you, boo. And just keep doing you.
And you know what's interesting is, like, your parents, like you're saying, your parents are never really happy about whoever you're dating.
Right.
Or one parent might be happy, the other one is not.
Right.
And I think it's interesting, too, like, your parents will tolerate your partner until your partner is no longer your partner, when there's a breakup and now they're gone. And then all of a sudden, you hear from everybody in the family, well, we didn't really like them that much anyway.
Like, oh, finally, that shit's over, girl. We don't want to tell you, but here's the tea.
I had a friend who lives in New York City who was like, me and your mom, Zoe, me and your mom kind of agreed. We didn't think that person was the one for you. I'm like, oh, now I find out that my friends and my mother were all communicating behind my back. You know what I mean? So it's just funny, like, but it's interesting because I think, we can only push our parents so far.
Right.
And sometimes I'm just grateful even for just silent, tacit, just acceptance.
Yes.
As opposed to outright, like,
right.
I don't like it, stop that, get out of my house.
Right. Well, I
know what I mean?
Yeah, and I did date somebody briefly that my father was so unhappy with.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, and
that was
that was some outward, like, I'm not talking to you shit kind of shit, and like I'm not gonna talk to you until you decide that this relationship is over.
That's some amor prohibido.
That wasn't amor prohibido, and same thing
in real ways.
All my family was warning me and was like, don't do this, don't do this, don't date
Watch
this
out
person.
for that one.
Yeah, and I was like, and then at that point I was like, me puse bien rebelde, and I was like,
course.
speaking of, my dad's calling me.
He heard us.
He
heard us. It says papi right there.
It does. Papi's calling. Yeah, father papi, not daddy papi.
Not daddy papi. There's a difference.
There's a difference. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Whew.
All right.
Goodness. So there's your answer. There's our answer to your question.
Yes.
And thank you. And always submit questions to our Curious Cat.
Yes. Please keep submitting.
What is it? CuriousCat.com/
locatora-radio
_? Let me look it. Let me look it up. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Keep submitting questions. We love reading these questions. We have a few that we're gonna answer in the next few capítulos, but it's always good to have new ones, especially if they go more on theme with what we're talking about
Absolutely.
today.
Yeah. CuriousCat.me/ locatora_radio.
Yes.
Send us questions.
We prefer the Curious Cat Me over the DM, to be honest.
We really do.
Because this is the one place that we can just really keep up with where specifically the questions
We're
are.
trying to stay organized.
Yes.
We're trying to stay organized. So
Yes.
Thank you. Ask us questions. We're pretty open.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think we're pretty honest about stuff.
When people ask us questions, we answer them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more into our topic, amor prohibido. So what does that come to when you hear that phrase, amor prohibido? What does it bring to mind for you? Like, what are your immediate references?
I think of amor prohibido. I think of painful love. Yeah.
The best kind.
Right. I think of like that love that has you up at night,
sobbing
sobbing
alone into your pillow,
right?
listening
Because
to sad music.
something is keeping you from being with that person, whether it be your parents, society, la otra,
Ah, yes.
quién sabe,
Whatever it is, whoever it is.
whomever it may be.
There's always something in the way.
Right.
Whether that be distance.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it be your own emotional unavailability.
Ooh, girl.
Another person's emotional unavailability.
Yes. Or just even knowing that the person is not the one for you, but still wanting to, see how this person is gonna, play out in your life, or
Right.
what the relationship is gonna teach you, even
Right.
though you know it's not the relationship.
But you want the experience anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I don't mind. You know when a person is not your life partner.
Oh, for sure.
There are those people,
Yes.
right, that you meet them in wherever you meet them, whether that's
Mhm.
you're out, you're in school, whatever. Here, there, whatever. And like, okay, this person is going to be a lot of fun,
Yeah.
or this person is a little bit of trouble, and I'm down, but I know what I'm getting and I know what I'm not going to get.
I know that this has an expiration date,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I'm gonna fight it,
Yes.
eventually some shit is gonna blow up and this person's gonna be out of my life.
Yeah, even when because the universe, God, Shiva, whoever is sending you a million signs
And
to
you're
keep
like,
this person away from you.
you're like, I don't know her.
I don't know her.
I don't see.
I can't see, I can't read.
See. Suddenly I can't see.
I'm gonna ignore all the signs and I'm gonna seek out this person that I know is bad for me.
Yep.
That's gonna send me into a very dramatic life spiral.
I was gonna say.
But I want it. I
Right.
yearn for it.
And make me cut off all these people that are connected to them, right?
Yeah.
Why do we do that
I don't know, because
shit?
we're horrible. That's Amor
Porque nos
Prohibido.
gusta la mala vida por eso.
Me gusta sufrir. That's why.
Exacto.
And I've always known that about myself.
Yeah.
You just have to be honest. I like to create drama for myself. I do.
I think at this point in my life, my self-love is not getting into dramatic relationships.
That's good.
That's how I'm going to
That's
practice
good.
that
I like that.
self-love.
I like that. That's good.
At this point in my life, my current partner is like, no drama. And sometimes I find myself getting in these self-sabotage ways of being like, okay, but where is the drama?
Right.
How come, the pin hasn't dropped, right? Well, how come the shoe hasn't fallen off? I'm like, what's going on?
You're
I'm
what's coming?
wait
What's
a
coming? What's
second.
coming?
I'm like, hold on.
It's
And then
scary.
my boo has to be like, take things for what they are.
Things are good. Let them be
Yes,
good.
let them be good. And I'm just like, oh, okay, you're right.
Trust the calm.
Right? Yes.
Embrace the calm.
Right. Maybe there's not a storm coming.
Yeah, there might not be.
Yes.
That being said, let's get into our song break.
Let's go into our song break. So,
I need a break.
Yes, FYI, we want to let our listeners know we're changing our format just a little bit. Now that we're, on the YouTube, we have to think about things such as copyright infringement. We know YouTube is super strict about the music that you play. So at this point, we're only going to be playing a short portion of the song, so you're not going to be getting the full length. But as always, you can Spotify it, YouTube it, find it. Of course, we're going to give you all the info. So for today, we actually have a song by Sid on the internet.
And it's called Girl.
Yes.
So let's get into it.
And we're back.
Pardon us.
So,
Woo! So Valentine's Day is coming up.
Valentine's Day is coming up, and we are hosting an event with Jessica Salgado and Nada Cult, her publisher, and it's called Luxura. It's gonna be at the LA Theater Company, I think, así se llama.
The Los Angeles Theater Center.
Eso. And
On
it's
Spring Street.
On Spring Street,
Downtown.
LA. Tickets are still available, almost sold out though. They're $25. Starts at 7:30. There's a bar. We're hosting, like we said. Super excited. There's going to be a few other poets that are performing along with Jessica. Donna is going to be performing.
Do not miss Donna.
And then we're going to do a Q&A after. So we're going to be facilitating that. We love emceeing. We love hosting.
We really do.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah. So, talking about Valentine's Day, throwback to what did we do last year for Valentine's Day?
It was a hot ass, ratchet ass mess.
We were each other's Valentines.
We were. It was a Galentine's
It was.
day. It really was.
It was a lot of fun. It was super sweet. We were supposed to go out to a nice dinner and ended up ordering Papa John's
We ordered
we had
pizza.
And we just, got drunk and turned at Mala's place.
Yeah, well, first of all, we met at my place, and my apartment is very small.
Yes.
So it was like, how many girls?
It was the Mami Collective, Melissa, and
Bao.
Bao.
And I feel like she had a friend there.
Did she? Oh, I don't remember.
Or was
but
it just Bao?
I think it was just Bao. Okay, anyway,
But
so
there was
there
like
was what, like 6 or 7?
6, whatever those numbers
Yeah.
add up to. 7 women. And so we were drinking Henny, obviously, Henny and pineapple and other things.
I was drinking champagne.
She was drinking champagne. We were drinking Henny and pineapple out of champagne flutes.
Right.
Which is what I like to do.
Right.
I like to drink out of champagne flutes. So anyways, we're leaving, right? And we were going to the short stop on Sunset. And friggin' the light, okay, when you go to a new person's house, like, you don't always know, like, where are the steps, where are the lights, where are the corners, what do you look out for? Like, you're not aware of, like, the space.
Yeah.
And it was dark. And, my house is a little bit old, it's a little bit ratchet sometimes. And, like, our lights are not everything is lit. And some of the lights are late. And some of the lights are in weird places. And so poor Maritza, she didn't see this step. The light comes off way late, and Maritza falls and fucks up her ankle. And while she's on the floor, and I'm like, oh my God, Maritza! Then the light comes on, so we can see our predicament, but we couldn't avoid it.
Poor girl.
And she was limping. She limped into the Uber, but she was a fucking trooper, and she rallied, and she limped all the way into the short stop and up to the bar, girl. It was great.
Yes, and then I think we took care of her that night, bought her drinks.
Yeah.
Like, had her seated. We're sitting with her.
Her
and,
ankle was elevated
ankle was
and
elevated.
everything.
We were single hoes that year. All of us were single at the same time.
Could you imagine?
Oh, girl.
Can you
Nobody
even
could stand a
imagine?
chance.
It was terrible.
And nobody could.
It was great.
Nobody was safe.
No, not even us. We weren't even safe.
Right. So
We were
that
hella
was-
single.
Yes. That was Valentine's Day last year.
But it was fun. It was a nice Galentine's
It
Day.
was a lot of fun.
Much has changed.
Much has changed.
It's still Galentine's Day for me.
Yeah.
You have a boo.
I have a boo, but he's not like a Valentine's Day person.
Yeah.
So I checked with him. Before I booked the event, obviously, like, hey, like, we're gonna host this event. Like, I just want to like check in. Like, are we gonna do anything that day?
Do we have plans?
Do we have plans? Were you planning something? And he doesn't like to plan anything, so he was like, we can do something on the weekend. Like,
fair.
Do you? And I was like, okay, perfect. That was the answer I wanted. So
Right, you got what you were looking
I got what I was
for.
looking for, and it was funny because throwback. I was telling Mala actually that after our Valentine's Day, the morning after waking up, he had actually started following me on Instagram. Current boo. So I was like full circle.
Would you look at that?
Right?
That's so funny.
I know.
How cute.
Yeah.
Did you post a photo that Valentine's?
I did. I was looking hella fine. I kind of liked it.
He did like it. He did like it. He took the bait.
He did.
He took the bait.
Right.
I love putting some bait out there,
Right.
and you just know that they're gonna bite, and then when they bite, you're like,
It
right
feels
on
good.
time.
Yep. You're like,
right on time.
I knew what I was doing.
We always know what we're doing.
It's true. We do.
Even when we're not thinking about it, it's like, oh wait, I knew what I was doing all along.
Right.
I got my desired result, even if I didn't know that I desired that result.
Right. I got what I wanted. It worked out. We're good.
Exactly. That's the best.
Yes. So, okay, going on theme, right? Talking about Amor Prohibido. Mana brought up an interesting point about self-love.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, self-love in its own way is an Amor Prohibido. Why?
So often, right, like, especially women, and I would say most especially also, like, queer men, to be really into yourself and to love yourself and want to take pictures of yourself and spend time on your makeup and your hair, we're always called conceited, and we're always, like, talked down on for that, you know? And we're self-centered, and we're narcissistic, and we're shallow. People love saying that women are shallow and girls are shallow.
Femmes are shallow.
That femmes are shallow.
Frivolous.
I'm like, that is our love language for ourselves.
Yes.
Is to spend time on ourselves and to look at ourselves, because this performance is not just for the outside world. We perform for ourselves. If femininity in many ways is performance.
Yeah.
Right? And like, okay, to quote Britney, There are
What
those
did
of
she
us
say?
that do the entertaining and then others who are watching.
Mm.
For me, since we can establish femininity as performance in many ways,
Right.
We are performers, but we also perform for ourselves. And then everybody else, they're watching.
Yep.
They're the audience,
Mhm.
right? And sometimes the audience needs to sit back and shut the fuck up and let the show continue. You know what I mean? So for me, that's what I think of when I think of self-love. Like, we're not supposed to love ourselves because then we're shallow or
Right.
self-centered.
Yeah.
But we do this for ourselves.
Absolutely. So in its own way, it is an amor prohibido, right?
I think
because
so.
we're not allowed to do it. We're not allowed to outwardly do it. We're not allowed to talk about it. We're not allowed to post too many selfies, right?
Right.
We're not allowed to take the time for ourselves that we need. Establish our boundaries. Say no to people, right? Those are the things that we're not allowed to do, especially as women and femmes.
Yes, especially.
Yeah.
And then, obviously there are different types of, like, there's certain types of loves that are always going to be, like, forbidden, right?
Yeah.
So whether that's because of race, class, gender, like, people always find a reason to problematize a romantic encounter, or unless it's, like, cis-het inside of marriage, everything else is fucked up. And that honestly excludes most types of love.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I feel like by default, all of my relationships have been like amor prohibido because of the queerness, right? With the exception of my current one, but all my past relationships have been amor prohibido because of the queerness,
Yeah.
right? And whether that be like from society or any type of like internalized homophobia or internalized misogyny, like that mask energy, even in like queer folks, queer women, all that shit.
Yeah.
Right?
And I feel like the theme of Amor Prohibido is so common, like, in music.
Right.
So much mariachi, lost love, forbidden love, fucking Jessica.
I was gonna say, fucking the Vicente fans came for her.
Yes, Jessica Salgado. Hey, girl.
Shout out, mama.
I know you're watching. Much love. Jessica had tweeted out the other day about how Vicente Fernandez, that iconic song, every Mexicano's, every Latino's favorite song, El Rey, right? They all sing it about themselves, right? She's like, that's the ultimate fuckboy anthem, because he's talking about, like, I'm broke, I got no power, I got no influence, and nobody listens to me. Well, why the fuck would I? Why are you crying?
Right.
But anyway, so, like, I also feel like in so many novelas, Amor Prohibido is just a constant theme.
Oh, totally. I mean, that's what makes it so dramatic, right? Like how we said in the first half of the Capitulo, right? We want the drama, right? We've grown up with all that drama, right? So we're like, okay, that's the only way to be in a relationship, right? Is to have all this drama,
right?
But I mean, so we see it in novelas, right? Classic, of course, Amor Prohibido by Selena. That is just like the anthem.
Yeah, and
forbidden love.
In that song, she's talking about, somos de distintas sociedades, somos de diferentes clases. So it's like, I'm wondering, like, in the song, right, like, what is her position? Is she the one that's not good enough, or is she the princesa that's too good, and he's not good enough for her?
I don't think we really know, because even in the video, right, is there a person in the video?
Doesn't she get stood up? Is that the one where she's out and she's wearing the t-shirt, the striped t-shirt, and the jeans, and she has the long
with the rose?
With the rose.
No, that's No Me Queda Más.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm getting my references mixed up.
No, but
let's look at the video.
Amor Prohibido is when she's out in the desert and there's like a door. There's just a door. She's wearing that beautiful like red tie like outfit. Yes.
Is there a man?
Is there a man? I don't remember.
No, she's wearing the white.
Yeah, but she's also wearing red in a part of the video.
Oh. Yeah, see, she stands alone.
Yeah.
Who knows? See, so it could be like, right, like I've had family basically tell me like, oh, well, we don't like such and such because we don't think that they're good enough.
Right.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Who's heard that before? No one's good enough. No one's good
Nobody
enough.
is good
No
enough.
one's good enough. I guess my grandma, I wasn't here when this happened, but my mom told me that my grandma Nacha, they were watching TV and they were talking about, the prince and Meghan Markle. And my grandma was like, so he met her in LA? And where were my granddaughters when the prince was here? Where were they? What were they doing?
I'll be host.
I was out hoeing. Sorry. Sorry.
I miss Prince. I miss my
I
dad.
missed the prince. I missed the prince. I was over
That's
here
hilarious.
being fucking occupied by all these fucking troll ass dudes out here instead of meeting the prince. That's what I was wasting my time.
That's what happened.
I was wasting my time. That's what I was
definitely
doing.
what happened.
Anyways,
That's funny.
yeah, that is
Okay,
funny.
So music, movies. Did we talk about movies? Well, the novelas.
I mean,
So many movies.
the basis for all this shit so much is the Romeo and Juliet idea.
Right. That's it. The continued theme.
Yeah,
What is it when it's a theme and it reoccurs? What is it called?
it's a trope. No, it's a
But
theme.
There's something else.
It's a
Like a motif.
It's a motif. Is it a motif?
I don't know.
Is it a trope?
Now I don't know. Anyway, well, the reoccurring theme.
Oh, sorry. It's some literary device. One of those
Yes.
fucking literary devices that they hammered into us, like, our entire education.
Right.
That we can't remember.
Can't remember
I would even say, I wonder how much is the story of Adam and Eve, even in Amor Prohibido, just like from the fucking jump. First
Right.
of all, it's so brutal.
Right.
The way that the Bible imagines, like, men and women, like,
Mhm.
taking his rib out. Like, what the fuck? Why? It's so grotesque.
Right.
And then I don't even know, are they even in love? Or they're just put
They're
together?
put together.
You
They're just
know?
put together. There's no, yeah.
And I do not believe, right? Because what's the story? That the snake spoke to Eve.
Right. And then she went and was like, here, try this apple.
I don't believe it for a second. I don't believe it. They
No.
did Eva wrong.
Eva was framed.
Eva was
Oh.
framed.
I wrote a paper about this in college about how Eve was framed.
Eve was framed, y'all. And she did it because she was a ride or die.
We don't need to be right or die.
We don't need to be ride or die. She was a down ass bitch, and I think that she was framed. I think that they put all the blame for this shit on the woman, of course.
Right, of course. So that just laid the foundation for patriarchy and misogyny because women ruined society.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
They ruined the Garden of Eden.
look up epistemologies. That's a survivor narrative.
Yep.
I don't believe that Eve did it. She was framed.
She was framed. Okay, so okay, tell me if this is too personal.
Okay. Yeah. What is it?
Can you give me a personal example of Amor Prohibido?
Oh my god.
Little or small?
Well, how much time do we have, girl? No, I once dated somebody who lives in a different country.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't shared this like on the podcast,
Oh, yeah,
and I
that's
haven't shared this on the internet really.
Right. Okay.
But I once dated someone who lived in another country, and this country was Cuba before before the embargo was lifted. And it was a few years ago, and I used to fly myself, by myself. This was in my early 20s. I was 20 to
We be doing
22
some reckless shit in
for
our,
love.
in our early 20s.
For love, between the ages of 20 and 22, I traveled to Cuba by myself at least 3 times, and I had a Mexican travel agent who was based in Cancun who would buy me my tickets, and I would Western Union him money, and then I would fly.
You were doing the most for the D, girl. Lesson number 1: to do
And
that.
I would fly into Cancun and then sneak into Cuba, but nothing bad ever happened to me.
That's good. I'm glad you were able to do that.
I mean,
same
something bad did happen, and that's why the relationship ended.
Right.
But it was him. It wasn't
thing.
my travels.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I wasn't in trouble on an international level.
Yeah.
It was an interpersonal
Of course.
problem. So that was definitely an amor prohibido, I would say.
Yeah.
And
You had travel restrictions on you, girl.
I had hella travel restrictions. My passport could not get stamped.
Right.
I had to have the stamp somewhere else. It was a whole fucking thing. But I never got in trouble. And I hope that me talking about this publicly, I'm not going to get in trouble now. If the feds get me, this is why. I know that there's lots. And for me, I haven't really unpacked that relationship and what it means to, obviously be an American, dating somebody who lives in Cuba, in Havana, or dating someone who lives, in Latin America. Obviously, there's a lot there as far as power dynamics and this and that and this and that and this and that. I was hella young, y yo por pendeja, to be honest. I was in it for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? So I will talk more about it one day when I can really process it, because I'm still like just so shocked that I did that. I did it, and I'm alive. So anyways, how about you? You shared a little bit.
Right.
But an example for you about an amor prohibido in your life.
Right, okay. So I don't want to get too deep into my past
Right, because this is raw, you guys. This is real shit. This is real life for us.
I refuse to talk about past relationships. I refuse.
Fair, very fair. Or do it very vaguely.
Right. So I'm gonna pull from a fun example and say that current Boo and I, when we were dating, we worked together. So kind of an amor prohibido, right? Because we don't want anybody to know. Already there were people at work that didn't fuck with me, they didn't like me, right?
Haters.
Shout out to y'all.
Haters.
So
shout out to the haters.
I was like, here comes Diosa, right? Dating the cute new guy who everybody has a crush on.
And how many men were there at the office before him?
Before him, I would say there were a handful, maybe 5.
Okay.
Right. I don't know if any of them. I think maybe a few of them were like single or available, but
yeah,
they weren't like the ones that you would date. You know. So, well then there comes now my partner, right? And I was like, had my eye on him, and I was like.
What was it that caught your eye?
Oh, he's hella fine. He has a beautiful beard. And
it connects.
It connects. He takes really great care of himself, and it shows. He, practices all his self-care and does things for himself. He's all about the maintenance, blah, blah, blah. So I would say that, dating someone that you work with, right, and not wanting it to be obvious in the office also gives it its own, rush, right, when you're, exchanging glances.
When you're not supposed to.
And you're texting each other, all these sexy things while you're in the same room, right? And
yes,
you're in a meeting and they're sitting behind, or he's sitting behind you, and they're sitting behind you,
the constant tension.
You know that there's this energy and tension, right?
And everybody else could feel it too, girl. And that's why they were hating.
I know.
They were really hating on Diosa.
I know. They were. But, shout out to myself because I got out of that job. I'm living my best life and I got my boo. So.
And you got a better job.
Got a better job. So
you won.
So I won.
Diosa won.
Yes. Okay, so. That was my example.
Yes, and actually,
how are we doing on time?
It's really time for us to wrap up.
Yes.
As much as we love talking about love, it's time to wrap up. We're gonna play a song by Becky G and Leslie Grace called "Dígale."
Yes.
But before we do that,
we want to remind y'all to subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, rate us. We're almost at 100. Will it be you that is number 100? I hope it is. Leave us a review, comment, all that good stuff. Subscribe, yes.
Share.
I got that.
Oh, okay.
Share. Nana is actually going to pull up a review that we liked. We wanted to share it with y'all.
Yes, off of our iTunes. We're so grateful for all of our listeners. So, thank you. This is from Violet.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and being unapologetically yourselves. I can't express how much it means to me to see how you both mix academia, chisme, and femme magic within your praxis. It makes me feel like I can be my best self in all different spaces of my life and not worry if I'm enough or needing to present myself in a way that's not authentic. Keep up the amazing work and carving out spaces for locas to thrive. I'm inspired to share my voice and experiences more and maybe start a podcast this year. Yes, love it. Okay.
So we want to thank all of our locamores, all of our listeners who have been commenting, sharing, showing us so much love on all of our social media pages. You can follow us on.
So we are obviously on Instagram, Twitter. We're also on Facebook, Locatora Radio. You can shoot us a question on our Curious Cat, like we said earlier. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Audio.
And also, I just realized we haven't talked about it. We hit 10,000 followers on Instagram.
Woo! Oh my God. We've been waiting on that number for a while now. We're so excited.
Actually, this is a good time to announce we're going to do a meetup in the next few weeks.
So look out for that.
Look out for it. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Thanks for coming, visiting Localandia.
And make sure that you come and check out Dulzura, which is February 14th, which is actually going to be the same day that this video is on YouTube.
Yes. So come through.
Come visit us. Besitos.